Okay, I'm going to be voting in support of the chair's recommendation. I appreciate the family coming down here, and I can understand the pain it must be, for all of you to be here. And so thank you for hanging in there for this. When we first met, I had mentioned my first thought to Mr. Ching, sir, was I believe people can switch jerseys, as it were. That you can, if you're committed to the work, get in and do a good job. And I actually believe that you're sincere and will do, if you are appointed, a reasonable job. Okay. So the question is it a reasonable job? Is that enough? The consistency of your answers were commendable. I mean, but you evaded a lot of things. When we were trying to probe down on a few things about, well, are you going to be that advocate for the environment, or are you going to default to, the private property rights things? And earlier in the questioning yesterday, I asked about the difference of highest and best use of land. And I was a little unsatisfied with that, because I think as far as the position that you're seeking to get, and again, echoing everybody's sentiment, should you be confirmed, I would be happy to work with you and support you. But going back to the answers and what is the highest and best use of lands, it was oversimplified. Well, I'm going to preserve land. I'm going to save this, save that. But there really didn't seem to be any depth in that. And maybe it's unfair. There was a lot of questions we asked about your understanding of environmental law, and you didn't know that too much about the environmental law. The evasions on LRF was very distressing, because I think that cuts to the integrity question. I'm not doubting your integrity, but the way you seem to know nothing about LRF's policies after 10 years was a concern. There was a comment yesterday that it's the lens in which you see things through, and that ultimately is the deciding factor in this, in my determination. I do think your lens, and it's not wrong for you to have the beliefs that you have and the opinions you have, and you should stand up for them. I feel like we're almost asking you to come into DLNR and have to go against your own instincts. I feel there is that tension, and that's the tension I think that's been brought up with the thousands of oppositions that have come forward. They are concerned that when you come down to a decision, is this significant or not, how will you make that decision? When we come to water rights, water rights is a really tricky area. I don't pretend to know much about it, but I know that that's a hornet's nest in itself on stream flows of pertinent rights and users, and how you're going to distinguish that. I mean, as the chair of the Water Commission, that's a monumental responsibility. And again, I gotta say, I just think you might flinch and lend more towards the development side instead of the preservation side when that comes push to shove. The public trust doctrine, that kind of flogged that. We beat that subject up a lot, but I think it's relevant. It's the perspective in which you bring to the job, and I hope if you are confirmed that I hope I'm wrong, and I hope everything's going to work out. But I'm going to support the chair's recommendation to not consent. And I have to share one more thing: is I represent a district that contains tremendous natural resources. We all do. All of our districts are special, but the Senate district that I represent is from Kaena Point to Kaneohe. We've got bays and watersheds and conservation lands. We've got streams and estuaries. And I asked you a question about the importance of stream flow and what that means to the environment and the nearshore waters. And there's things that I guess you're going to be learning along the way here. But my constituency is very strong on the preservation, keeping. People bandy this term around, and it's a funny thing when people use it as a jingle to kind of wave this magic wand. We'll keep the country. People use this all the time, and I'm very reluctant to actually use that term. And I think I've actually kind of earned the right to use it, but I'm reluctant to use it. But that is a sentiment that is really profound in my district. So if I'm going to represent my district and my constituency and the kind of philosophy that I have for the value of our natural resources. I'm going to have to go with the chair's recommendation. So thank you for allowing me to share that, and whatever may come, I wish you the best.